Amongst all the critical supplies that survivalists stockpile, there is nothing more controversial than ammunition. Part of the problem, as with everything else in preparing for an uncertain future, is that none of us really know what we need. We're trying to define how much inventory to invest in, without really thinking through it and determining how we'll use it. In order to fully understand how much ammo we need, we also need to develop a plan for how we will use our firearms. Of course, there are many preppers who have made a life out of collecting firearms too. While I can fully understand the fascination with guns and the desire to have lots of them, I can't really say that buying the largest gun safe you can find and filling it up with guns is really a necessity. But how much ammo is enough when stockpiling ammo? There are two basic purposes for which you'll need guns in any disaster situation. They are defense and hunting. You need to decide what sorts of guns you're going to have on hand for each of those purposes. In some cases, you may decide that you can use a gun for both purposes. A great example of this would be a shotgun. You could use that for both defense and hunting. Defensive ammunition. Home defense is where people really go crazy on ammunition purchases. But is that realistic? When infantry soldiers go off to battle, they carry what is known as a basic combat load. That's the amount of ammo that they are expected to use in one day's fighting. Do you really think you're going to use more ammo than an infantry soldier? The basic load of rifle ammunition for an infantry soldier is 210 rounds. That's 7 30-round magazines. One is in their rifle, and the others are in ammo pouches on their chest rig. For those who carry a pistol, they carry 3 magazines worth. You should have ammo for both, as you should be carrying both. Okay, so if we use that as a basis, then how many basic loads of ammo do you need? This is subject to argument, but I seriously doubt that any of us are going to use more than 2. If you survive through that much fighting, you're amazing. Most of us will probably die long before we reach that point. The other issue here is portability. Ammo's heavy. If you're bugging out, you probably won't be able to take more than 2 basic loads with you, one on your person and another in your vehicle. Once again, if you survive through that much fighting, you're simply amazing. Hunting ammunition. We could actually end up using more ammo for hunting than we will for defense in some situations. A lot will depend on your specific survival plans. If you're planning on staying in your home during a crisis, you're probably not going to use a lot of ammo hunting. But if you're planning on living off the land in some cabin in the woods, then you may actually go through a lot of ammo. But there are few who fall into that category. The only way that hunting will be a realistic possibility for most of us is if we live someplace where we have woods within walking distance of our home. Otherwise, without gasoline, we probably won't be able to go hunting at all. Now, the next question is, how much ammo do you use hunting? When I go, that's limited to 2 or 3 rounds, maybe only 1. Unless I'm bird hunting, when I might actually use as many as 6. So you really don't need a lot of rounds of ammo for each hunting trip. Start by figuring out your worst-case scenario for how long you're expecting to be in survival mode. Based on that, how often will you go hunting? Let's say 2 or 3 times per week. So if you're using 3 rounds of ammo per hunt and hunting 3 times per week, you're going to need an absolute maximum of 365 rounds of ammo to survive a year. I bet it will actually be much less than that. Okay, so let's put this all together. As an example, let's say you've got an AR-15, which is your primary defense and hunting weapon, and you're carrying a 9mm Glock as your sidearm. 2 basic loads of ammo for your AR-15 is 420 rounds, plus a year's worth of hunting at a maximum of 365 rounds. That makes a total of 785 rounds. Then, you need 102 rounds of 9mm for 2 basic loads to fill the 3 magazines for your Glock. For people in your family who are not going to be hunting, you can forget about the ammo for them to hunt. They'll only need the 2 basic loads. That's a whole lot less ammo than you need. For that matter, if you have others who do hunt, then you won't have to hunt as much, so you're still looking at only 365 rounds to take care of the year. This means that for a family of 4, all of whom are shooters, you need 2,453 total rounds of ammunition for rifles and pistols in order to be ready to survive for a year. That's a far cry from the 10,000 rounds that a lot of people are saying. Of course, if having that 10,000 rounds gives you a warm fuzzy feeling, then buy them, assuming you have enough money for that much. But don't feel like you have to, just because someone set up an arbitrary number and a lot of others have repeated it. Keep in mind that these figures are only for surviving. They do not include anything for training. That's another issue entirely. You can go through a lot of ammo learning to shoot. But then, those aren't rounds that you need to stockpile for survival. Those are rounds that you'd better expend before it becomes time to survive. Or you're going to be in a world of hurt. Do you agree or disagree on stockpiling ammo? How much ammo should you stockpile? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Here are some of the hottest new cartridges, loads, and line extensions for this year. Winchester Copper Impact. Better external ballistic performance at long range comes from bullets with higher ballistic coefficients. And with their new Copper Impact line of ammo, Winchester has accomplished higher ballistic coefficients by incorporating a longer ogive and a boat tail into the design of the bullet. For optimum terminal performance, Winchester added their extreme point to help initiate immediate expansion. All this, combined with a lead-free bullet that will retain most of its weight, makes for a deep, penetrating, big-game stopper that can be used from coast to coast. Now, Copper Impact ammunition is available for more than a dozen loads, including the 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.8 Western, and even the 350 Legend. Browning Pro 22 Rimfire Ammo. Browning's new 22 LR rimfire load has a 40-grain, lead-round nose bullet and a muzzle velocity of 1,085 feet per second. Savvy shooters will realize this is a subsonic load, and, as a result, the problem of accuracy degradation during the transition from supersonic to subsonic flight is avoided. Though this load could be used for close-range small-game hunting if headshots were taken, with its precise target crimp on the bullet for optimum alignment with the rifling, the Pro 22 is at its best for precision target shooting. It will be available in 100-round value packs. Hornady CX Bullet. Hornady's new CX Bullet replaced the GMX Bullet in both the Outfitter and Super Performance ammo lines. The new CX Bullet is a solid monolithic copper bullet designed by Hornady engineers to deliver better downrange accuracy and devastating terminal performance. Featuring Hornady's heat shield tip, the CX Bullet will maintain its high BC value downrange, allowing shooters better accuracy at extended distances. CCI Blazer brass-cased 9mm. For many years, shooters have turned to CCI Blazer ammunition for volume shooting, because the aluminum-cased ammo is substantially less expensive than conventional brass-cased ammo. The downside to the aluminum cases, however, is that they cannot be reloaded. For 2022, CCI is introducing a new Blazer load for the 9mm Luger with reloadable brass cases. It has a lead-free primer and a flat-nose 100-grain lead-free bullet. This makes the new load ideal for indoor ranges. Now you'll be picking up your brass and leaving no lead in the air. And the price remains quite reasonable for brass-cased ammo. Federal 30 Super Carry. One of the most intriguing ammo introductions for 2022 is Federal's new 30 Super Carry. A brand new cartridge specifically designed for those who carry a concealed pistol for personal protection. From an external and terminal ballistic standpoint, the 30 Super Carry will run right with the 9mm, but offers some key advantages. It generates between 10 and 20% less recoil for one thing, and, maybe more importantly, given magazines of the same size, it offers a higher capacity than the 380 Auto or 9mm Luger. Federal Premium Heavy Bismuth. The new Heavy Bismuth shotgun load is set to be one of the new leaders in the high-density shotgun load market, and features Federal's rear-deploying Flight Control Flex wad for both a dense payload and dense shot pattern at greater ranges, giving hunters the opportunity to pursue both upland birds and waterfowl with a hard-hitting, lead-free option. It will be available in 3 20-gauge shotgun shell loadings and 6 12-gauge variants to suit the various needs and preferences of waterfowl hunters. All varieties of Federal Premium Heavy Bismuth shot shells will feature non-lead bismuth pellets with a payload density of 9.6 grams, which is 22% greater than comparable steel loads. Remington Premier TSS. Just in time for the upcoming gobbler season, Remington has introduced a Premier TSS turkey load in 12-gauge, 20-gauge, and 410 bore in number 7 and 9 shot. Turkey hunters who've made the switch to TSS know all about the benefits. No matter the gauge, TSS delivers tight, lethal patterns to longer ranges than lead. The only thing is, you're going to pay for that performance, and Remington TSS loads are no different. At over $10 per shot for 12 and 20 gauge shells, they aren't cheap. But when you've got a gobbler hung up at 50 yards that you've been waiting for all morning, your wallet is the last thing on your mind.